to meeting the faces of iRacing and Mazda here at the Mazda Hub. We're glad that you can all join us here in Meet Space and everyone out there in Cyberland. Everyone, we're going to talk to some really exciting people. We got a few minutes here. Then they're going to take you outside. They're going to talk you through the Mazda Hot Lap Challenge, a really exciting opportunity for everyone here today. But first, we're going to talk to the big guy himself, Kevin Bobbitt with iRacing, everybody. Give it up for him. Thank you for joining us, Kevin. How are you?
Great, thanks for having me again. This is a great event to be at.
Well, we're really glad to have you. We're glad to be partnered with iRacing. Would you mind just telling the folks here who may not know a whole lot about iRacing, about the program, how it started, why it started?
Sure, happy to. So iRacing is an online racing simulation that we built from the ground up. We laser scan our tracks. We work with constructors to build the cars. You won't find a more authentic racing experience online than iRacing. Why I'm here and why we're in the Mazda booth is because we have some Mazda cars. We work with Mazda. We work with long road racing to develop the online digital version of the MX-5 Cup car that you see racing. I think there's one somewhere around here that you can look at. So build that car, races just like the real thing. I think Glenn will talk about that in a little bit, about how accurate and how authentic the driving experience is. But while we're here today talking, we have this amazing contest going on called the Mazda Hot Lap Challenge. And it's kind of a two-part contest. One is online at iRacing, so you can qualify online, and you can also qualify here, just outside on the racing simulators. And the really cool prize at the end of the deal is that you get 2 tickets to next year's Rolex 24, VIP experience from Mazda, hospitality, all that kind of stuff. So if you get a chance, after this little talk here, step outside, try to lay down a fast lap and see if you can win that great prize.
That's great. Thank you, Ken. Guys, just so I make sure everyone here heard that, today and this weekend alone, correct? This is the last weekend. You can go out on our iRacing simulators out here. You can try your hand at the road course at Daytona, and whoever has the fastest lap of the weekend gets their time entered into the nationwide competition. Whoever has the fastest time nationwide gets 2 free VIP passes, courtesy of iRacing and Mazda, to the 24 hours at Daytona. And there, you'll compete for your chance to drive a real MX-5 race car around the track. It's very, very cool. We're having the competition here at Daytona and online. If you want to join iRacing, you can compete at home as well. But this is the last chance, the last weekend, right?
That's probably the most important part of this, is that this is the last opportunity, whether you do it online or here at the track. So get your laps in.
All right, guys. And Kevin, do you want to tell me a little more about iRacing's partnership with Mazda?
Absolutely. So we've been partners with Mazda for 6 or 8 years now. We built several cars from Mazda, and the most raced car in all of iRacing is the MX-5, the global MX-5 Cup car. It provides some of the best online racing you'll ever see, wheel to wheel, beating and banging, bending fenders, trying to keep the car on the track. Again, Glenn will talk to how that is in the real world too, because Glenn has experience online as well as in the real world series. But it's really been a great partnership for iRacing with Mazda to get the right amount of information, to build the cars, to work with the constructors, to get the right data, and to get data from drivers like Glenn to help us fine-tune the cars so that we know that it really does drive like the real deal.
Thank you, Kevin. Guys, give it up for Kevin Bobbitt. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you. We're gonna pass the microphone right past him, just right on by him. And we're gonna talk to these two now. Everyone out there, you know who these two are, but here in Meet Space, I want to introduce you to famous Twitch iRacing streamers, famous Matt and Samantha. Guys, give it up for Matt and Samantha. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
We're here.
I'm starstruck, quite frankly. Guys, do you want to tell us a little bit about why you participate in iRacing, why you stream on Twitch?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, I used to play a lot of consoles like Forza, and I knew there had to have been something better, you know, a game or a simulator, something where you wouldn't spend just as long in the menus as you would in a 4-lap race. And sure enough, came across iRacing, and I was like, oh, this could be a little too hardcore for me. I don't know if I want to, you know. But sure enough, I jump right in, and first thing you get into is Mazda, and it's 4 years later, and I still race the Mazda. I love that car. But yeah, I just started streaming. I was new to Twitch. I didn't know what Twitch was. Found out what Twitch was. It's pretty much like a YouTube, but everything's live. And it's fun when you're there, you're streaming, or people are streaming the same races that you're in. You go back, you're watching the replay, you're talking about the wrecks you were in, your pit strategy, just anything. It's just really a community that comes together through Twitch, which makes it that much better, 100 times better than just kind of running laps by yourself solo. And then, then I met my beautiful wife, Samantha, and she even got in the simulator, and she's got a very competitive edge. And so it's worked out pretty well. Share what you got.
So my goal is just to be better than him.
Of course.
But of course, you know, iRacing's been really nice for me to jump into because I don't have any technical background with cars. So for me, it's just I want to jump in and go and improve my times and just get better and better with it. And the Mazda that we have there is in the rookie classes. It's all the same for all of us. So you really are just driving against others who are improving their race skill as well. And then as you go deeper and deeper and you get higher in your license class, you have that capability to tweak the cars and spend more time in the menu, making sure that your car is ready to go. But for me right now, it's just been really wonderful to get me hooked, I guess. And then the Twitch community itself is like a family who's there, and they encourage you, and they're just as excited to see you racing and improving as you are. So it just feeds into that competitive spirit, and then it's addictive. You just can't let it go.
Sometimes I root for you to crash though. 'Cause on the Twitch stream that we do, every single race, the viewers can bet on the race outcome. So you can bet win or top 5 or crash, or you know. So if somebody bet crash, they want you to crash. Maybe they'll try to distract you in the chat, but no. Getting back to Mazda, you know, it may be you know, quote unquote a rookie car in iRacing, and some people do abandon it after they progress through the license program. But I never abandoned that car because it's one of the best cars you can learn racecraft from. It's some of the closest racing you can have, and like what Kevin was saying, everyone's banging up fenders, and you know, I always say the slower the car, the closer the racing, and it's so true. And that car is so much fun to drive, even if you are just racing by yourself. The new Global Mazda, I'm looking at it right now through the window, and I just love the car. It's a great balance. It's like I said, it teaches you a lot of racecraft, and I'm going to keep racing it. I don't see myself stopping.
Well, thank you guys. And could you tell us a little bit how your feelings, your impressions, and maybe some strategy tips on the Hot Lap Challenge out there? We got a few people in here who look hungry for a championship.
Well, the Hot Lap Challenge right now is at Daytona Road, correct? That's what they're actually competing for.
Correct.
Right here. Daytona Road, well, you got to be careful going into turn 1. Don't get too hard on the brakes, but just kind of ease it into turn 1. And the infield, slow is fast, so slow in, fast out. And when you're coming back onto the oval, just punch it, and you're good. That wall will come up fast on the right, but just punch it, just go. And you should get a good lap. And watch out for the bus stops, slow in, fast out, and you should get a good lap. It's all about momentum. It's a momentum car, so you just got to keep that momentum up, and just be easy on the inputs, real easy.
All right. Anything to add to that? Anything you'd correct him on?
My husband's a microphone hog. Really, it's just about being smooth with it. I mean, if you just overcorrect it too much, you're going to lose your speed and momentum. So just go real smooth with it.
I think we should
Just be smooth. Just be smooth, internet and live people. Guys, everyone, thank you. Give it up for Matt and Samantha. Thank you guys for joining us. All right. And this guy barely needs any introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Everyone, give it way up for Glenn McGee. Glenn, I was hoping against hope that you'd be gracious enough to tell us your story, how you got into Mazda racing.
Yeah, so I actually got started. I was a big gamer in consoles. I was one of the top gamers in first-person shooters, and as well as sort of what we call the gateway drug of Gran Turismo. I was one of the best in the world in that, and I realized racing was something I could actually do in real life. Even though I was one of the best in the world in gaming, I could translate it to real life, and I wanted to figure out how I could do that best. And I saw the best talent was moving to iRacing, and they were the ones having real physics in the car, so they modeled the actual torsion in the chassis, they modeled every suspension part, they modeled the tires, and it's a great platform for someone coming in with, like Samantha, with no experience and being able to develop your talent to be able to translate it in real life. And that was always a dream of mine and all the other races around the world. And again, all the top talents, what we call aliens, all the original aliens were heading over to iRacing. So in 2010, I headed over there along with Gregor Hutu and Christian Shimshak, Norby Kiss and guys like that. And started competing, initially kind of developing myself as a driver and learning all the techniques and balancing the car and what to do when you lose it and things like that. So, it's very competitive. They're their original esports simulator, and I got into professional esports in 2013 on iRacing, and Mazda came along in 2014 in a partnership with iRacing, and in 2014 and 2015, I competed in basically a Mazda World Championship in the MX-5 Cup that they have on the simulator, and it was very, very difficult. It was 24 rounds counted, and I had the most poles, most wins, and I had the most lap records. Gotta throw that in there. But no, it was very modest. But that's. But I always say that I'm very humble. I'm the most humble person here. But
it's your best quality.
It's my best quality. But anyway, no, it's super tough. So to give you the idea of the competition, there was a world competition open to anyone, and on the podium with me was a Spaniard and a Japanese driver. And it goes through the field, just people from the Middle East or Europe, Australia, and so it was extremely hard. But I ended up becoming iRacing's champion to the Mazda shootout. So Mazda invited the iRacing champion to the shootout, which traditionally Mazda's done since 2006. So they invite the best champions, like real life drivers from around the world in the nation that win in Mazdas They collect us all together and have us compete, but for this event, they had us bring in, the iRacer, myself, and I think they really had me there as they wanted to see what would happen, but they didn't know if I could do anything, and I wasn't sure either, really. But, and we got there, it was raining really hard the first day, and we got on, we actually have BF Goodwrench supporting us. They're actually the tire for the current Global MX-5 Cup Series, and they make a fantastic rain tire. No lie, one of the best, it's got to be the best rain tire that you can get. And so I was really nervous going out. It's downpour raining, and I was 1.5 seconds quicker than anyone, and to my surprise, and to Mazda's surprise as well. So that kind of put me on the radar, and then I continued that performance through the shootout, competing against, there were 9 other drivers, whittled down to, and then it was whittled down to me and Mark Drennan. And he's one of the most successful Spec Miata champions in history, and we just had a really close battle, and Mazda took me for the win, and I won a $100,000 scholarship to compete in the battery tender Global Mazda MX-5 Cup Series, presented by BF Goodwrench Tires. It's but I became a professional driver. I went from becoming a professional esports pro gamer, developing myself on iRacing, to racing in real life in the same cars. I've raced virtually in the MX-5 Cup car, and now I race in real life in the Global MX-5 Cup car. So, a dream come true, and I'm just trying to make the most of it and represent the iRacing community well in that. So.
That's awesome. And what do you think about this hot lap challenge? Because quite literally, folks, your racing legend could start right out there on that iRacing simulator. Not exactly like Glenn's, but similar. You can skip all the first-person shooters and Forza and go straight to racing glory right out here. What do you think of the hot lap challenge?
So you guys definitely have to get out there. So it's online as well. So if you go to iRacing.com, if you haven't signed up, sign up. But actually, if you're at the track, this is the last chance at Road Atlanta. Try and get to this booth and get online. It's the Daytona Road track. But if you win, like Kevin was saying, you get a VIP guest of Mazda at the Rolex 24 Hour. But in addition to that, they're going to have the finalists compete, and the winner will actually get to, test drive the car. We don't know where yet.
Right,
Test drive the real life Global MX5 Cup race car, and I'm hoping to be there to coach the guy as well. And it could, if you do well enough, maybe you'll be my teammate coming up. So definitely get on there and try and post a good time.
That's awesome. Guys, give it up for Glenn McGee. Thank you so much, Glenn. Any tips for everyone on the Daytona road course?
I think Matt had some good advice, but I would say I always like to go fast in, fast out. But sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you go off and you do that. But yeah, I think they had good advice. Just try and keep the platform stable, and in the slow stuff, make sure you get to the brakes and get a good run out. So yeah.
All right, well, guys, give it up again for Glenn McGee. Give it up for all of our guests. Very nice of them to spend their time with us this afternoon. More exciting stuff, though, folks. These guys are going to be heading right out there to our simulators, and they're going to be showing you what they've got on the iRacing simulator out there. Maybe you can pick up some tips, some tricks. They're going to be streaming out there, too. That's going on right now. Don't go away. Stick with us, folks. We're heading outside. Thank you guys so much for joining us.